out of the 80s, a social policy out of the 50s, and an economic policy right out of the 20s. The differences in our policies, and I would submit to you in our values, are profound. And the American people, after 4 debates, know it. Ladies and gentlemen, that's why last night you saw Governor Romney rushing to agree with the president on Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria. He disavowed the foreign policy he's been running on for the past 2 years, just like that. Even, this one amazed me. This one amazed me. He even tried to rewrite the history of his position on rescuing the automobile industry. No! Have you know? Whoa! If I only knew he was ready to help back then. If I only knew. Look, half the time, I didn't know whether Governor Romney was there to debate Barack Obama or endorse Barack Obama. But I have a message for the good governor. Governor, you can't run from the truth. You can't run from your record. You can't run from your policies. Look at his policies. Opposition to nuclear arms control agreements. Wanting to keep 30,000 troops in Iraq. Shredding regulations, which he commits to do, letting Wall Street gamble with our money again, and letting banks write their own rules again. Proposing over $2 trillion in new tax cuts for the wealthy while raising taxes on the middle class. Folks, we have seen this movie before, and we know how it ends. It ends in a catastrophe for the middle class. It ends in the Great Recession of 2008, and the American people are not prepared to go back. Leveling the playing field, getting the middle class back in the game. He knows how to build America from the middle out. That's how you build America. And thanks to his leadership and the grit of the American people, America is coming back. There is no quit in America. There never has been any quit in America. The American people know only one way forward. Only one way, and that is forward. And together, ladies and gentlemen, all of us, even the 47% of us that Romney doesn't think matter, regardless, I've never met two guys who are more down on America. Every time they turn around, Americans in decline. American people won't take responsibility. I don't know where they live, but it's not where we live. It's not who we are. And ladies and gentlemen, regardless of what our opponents say, what they try to paint, America is not in decline. Americans are not a dependent people. We are strong. We're independent. We take responsibility. And I've got news for Governor Romney and Congressman Ryan. It's never, ever been a good bet to bet against the American people. I want everybody to give a big round of applause to Joe Biden.
know, Joe Biden is a man who is literally in love with the teacher. He doesn't just say, I love teachers. He's married to a teacher. But more importantly, I want everybody to understand this. I could not ask for a better partner than my Vice President, Joe Biden. There's nobody who knows more about foreign policy than my Vice President. There's nobody who gives me better advice than my Vice President. There's nobody who you'd rather have in a foxhole with you when it matters most than my Vice President. There's nobody who cares more about the middle class and fights harder for America than my Vice President. I could not do what I do without him having my back every single day. So I want you to give him another big round of applause. For Congress, Sharon Newhart is here. Give her a big round of applause. Now, 2 weeks, Ohio. 2 weeks. 2 weeks from today, Americans all across the country will step into the voting booth. But here in Ohio, you can vote early. Here in Ohio, you can vote right after this event. If you want to know where to vote, you go to vote.barackobama.com. He already voted, and he's proud of it. Not just a choice between two candidates or two parties, but two different visions for this country that we love. Well, last night we had our third debate. I hope I made clear that there's a big difference between me and Mitt Romney. And it's not just that he's got better hair. The greatest responsibility I have as president is to keep the American people safe. That's why I entered the war in Iraq, so we could go after the terrorists who actually attacked us on 9/11. That's why working with Joe Biden and our national security team, we've been able to decimate Al-Qaeda. That's why we're able to bring Osama bin Laden to justice. That's why we're now ending the war in Iraq, because after a decade of war, it's time to do some nation building right here in Ohio. Do some nation building here in the United States of America. In a world of new threats and challenges, America needs leadership that is strong and steady. Unfortunately, Governor Romney's foreign policy has been wrong and reckless. You heard him last night. He was all over the map. During the debate, he said he didn't want more troops in Iraq. But he was caught on a video just a few months ago saying it was unthinkable not to leave 20,000 troops in Iraq. Those troops would still be there today instead of back home. Last night, he claimed to support my plan to end the war in Afghanistan. But he opposed a timeline that would actually bring the rest of our troops home. Last night, he said taking out bin Laden was the right thing to do. Back in 2007, he said it wasn't worth moving heaven and earth to catch one man. Now, I recognize that we must have some doctors in the house, because I've already heard people identify this condition. It's called Romnesia. And we had a severe case breaking out last night. So I want to go over the symptoms with you, because Dave and I sure don't want anybody to catch it here in Ohio. If you talk about how much you love teachers during a debate, but just a few weeks ago you said we shouldn't hire anymore because it won't grow our economy, you might have amnesia. If you say you won't give a big tax cut to the wealthy, but you're on a video promising your tax cut would include the top 1%, that sounds like a classic case of amnesia. If you say that you love American cars during a debate, you're a car guy, but you wrote an article titled, "Let Detroit Go Bankrupt," you definitely have a case of amnesia. Last night, Governor Romney looked you right in the eye, looked me in the eye, tried to pretend that he never said, "Let Detroit go bankrupt." Tried to pretend he meant the same thing I did when we intervened and worked to make sure that management and workers got together to save the U.S. auto industry. Pretended like somehow I had taken his advice. The people don't forget. The people of Dayton don't forget. The people of Ohio don't forget. If Mitt Romney had been president when the auto industry was on the verge of collapse, we might not have an American auto industry today. We'd be buying cars from China instead of selling cars to China. And you know how important that is to Ohio. The auto industry supports 1 in 8 Ohio jobs. It's a source of pride to this state. It is a source of pride to our country. It's a source of pride to generations of workers. I refuse to walk away from those workers. I bet on those workers. I refuse to walk away from those jobs. I understood that Americans can compete. I wasn't about to let Detroit go bankrupt or Toledo go bankrupt or Lordstown go bankrupt. I bet on American workers. I bet on American manufacturing. I will do it again because that bet has paid off for Ohio and for America. So here's the good news, Ohio. If you've come down with a case of amnesia, if you can't seem to remember the positions that you've taken, not just 4 years ago, but 4 days ago, if you don't remember the positions that are on your website, if you don't remember the promises you've been making during the 6 years that you've been running for president, you don't have to worry because Obamacare covers pre-existing conditions. Medicine is there for amnesia. Now, you know, we joke about Governor Romney being all over the map, but it speaks to something important. It speaks of trust. There's no more serious issue in a presidential campaign than trust. Trust matters. You know, you want to know that the person who's applying to be your president and commander-in-chief is trustworthy. That he means what he says. That he's not just making stuff up.